Hello friends! Today I have a really cute fun fold pop-up card that I want to share with you today. So we are going to be using the Be My Valentine Stamp Set. This is in our annual catalog as well as the Be My Valentine Punch. This is also in the annual catalog. You can get both of these. In the annual catalog, you can shop for them in my online store. The link is in the video description. Make sure you use that host code for some extra rewards when you shop using that host code. The supply list and measurements are also in the video description, and you can find pictures along with the supplies and more instructions on my blog, which is also linked in the video description. Please subscribe to my channel so you never miss a really fun video. I'm really excited to share this card with you. So when you open it up, it pops up and kind of stands up just like that. Isn't that such a fun, sweet little card? You can do this with any images, anything at all. I made a bunch of these for a swap recently, so I'm really excited to share this with you. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So we're going to start with the outside of the card. And for that, I'm going to use a Night of Navy card base. And this card base is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, just your typical standard card base. And I have a piece of DSP. This is from the Mediterranean Blooms DSP. So you have those beautiful citruses on the back, but I love these blue patterns. So you can use this one on your on the front. So this is what we're using, and this one is 5 1/4 by 4. And remember, all those measurements are in the video description, so don't worry about writing any of them down. All right, let's go ahead and give our card base a good burnish. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out just a little bit. I feel like we're a little close. There we go. Zoom out. Okay. So we have our card folded, and I'm not going to glue this on. I thought I was going to glue this on, but I'm not. Let me go ahead and line this up. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's glue this on. I'm just going to put adhesive along the outside. All 4 edges just along the outside, and we're going to glue this down. And then we're going to do a little bit of die cutting on this. So I'll make sure I get that nice and straight, even borders. So we're going to do some die cutting with that. And for the die cutting, we're going to use the Stylish Shapes dies. These are in the annual catalogs. I use these a ton. So make sure you grab these in the online store if you don't already have some. So we're using the largest circle from the Stylish Shapes dies. And I'm going to use some washi tape to hold this in place. You can also use a post-it note or post-it tape, whatever you want, but I want to make sure that this doesn't move. I want to make sure that it's lined up well. So we are basically just kind of centering that onto our card front. So I'm going to put that down, and I'm going to bring in my cut and emboss machine. This is going to take up a fair amount of the camera, so I do apologize. This is going to be all over. We're just going to die cut this really quickly. So I'm going to stick this in. We're going to cut out that circle. So I have my base plate, the number 1. I have the thin die adapter, number 2, and then 2 of the number 3 plates. I just went forward, and then I'm going to go back. Okay. We're cutting through a couple layers because you're cutting through DSP and cardstock. I like to just go back when I go back and forth when I'm cutting through multiple layers, although the DSP is really thin, so it shouldn't interfere with anything. So carefully pull that washi tape off, and you have 2 circles. You can set these aside. We're actually going to use this, the Night of Navy one, but you can set this DSP one aside. You can use it for a different project. Okay, let me move my die out of the way. Okay, so make sure you save your Night of Navy piece. If yours has any glue on it, if it went past the edge a little bit, just go ahead and use an adhesive remover or just your finger, whatever, just get that off. Okay, I think mine is good. We are good. So let's work on the mechanism of our card that's going to make our card pop up. So for that, I have a piece, another piece of Night of Navy. I have a couple of them, 2 pieces of Night of Navy. So this piece, this is going to be like the box that pops up our circle. This piece is, I want to make sure I get this right, 4 by 1.5, and you're just going to score it at 1, 2, and 3. So let's go ahead and give that a burnish with our bone folder there. And then you're going to need another piece, and this is 2 1/4 by 3/4, and you're going to score it at 1 1/4. It's not going to be in half, so you can see that it's not scored in half, and that's okay. That's what we want. Okay, So all of those measurements in the video description. So if you missed any of those, just check out the video description for those measurements. All right, now for this piece, so we have basically 4 1-inch panels. I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to put adhesive on one of the panels. So just this first panel right here, I'm going to put adhesive on that. And I'm going to use a stronger adhesive for this. So this one I'm using my Stampin' Seal Plus. So just adhesive just on one of those panels. All right, now with the sticky side facing down, I'm going to line it up. I'm going to center it as best I can. If you want to get out a ruler and actually mark center, you can do that. I'm just going to eyeball it. We're going to center it and glue it down to the back. Actually, oh, let's take that up real quick. We're going to put in our white piece first. We need to put in our white piece. So our white piece is going to go on the inside. So before we do that, let's actually stamp it. So I'm going to move this out of the way. We're going to come back to our mechanism. I'm going to leave the adhesive on it. I'm going to carefully put it aside, and we're going to come back to that in just a second. But let's go ahead and stamp the inside piece, because we do need to get that stamped before we put it in our card. So I have some crushed curry, and I'm using lots of stamps from that Be My Valentine Stamp Set. And so I have like the little honeycomb hexagon little shape stamp here, and I'm going to stamp a few of these and just kind of line them up. I'm going to try to line them up as best as I can. If they don't line up perfectly, that's okay. We're not going to worry about that. And you can do other stuff in the inside of your card as well. You don't have to do the little hexagons. If you wanted to stamp some more bees, that's okay too. But see, I just stamped a few of them. They didn't line up perfectly right there, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about that. All right, we're done with that one for now. We'll come back to that one in a minute. And I'm going to grab my Berry Burst, and there's a tiny little heart stamp in that stamp set, and I am going to stamp that. Now right here where it got a little bit off center, I'm going to stamp my heart there. Nobody's ever going to know now. And then I'm going to stamp it a couple more times without re-inking it, and that's going to just give me a few lighter shades of that Berry Burst color. And that is it for the stamping. So that's just a little bit of fun stamping on the inside. And now we're ready to adhere this to our card base. Let me pull this back in. So we have our card base, and let's put some adhesive on the back of this piece. And this is going to get adhered down right inside. This white piece is 5 1/4 by 4. So you're just going to get a small border around each of the edges. All right, now let's go back to our little mechanism piece. So we have adhesive on that one panel. So I'm going to flip it adhesive side down. And then we're going to line it up carefully, kind of right in the center. And we're just going to adhere that down. So only this one little tab is adhered down. So you have 3 extra tabs here. All right. We're going to adhere the front piece now. So, but I am only going to use one strip of adhesive, and that's going to go right along the edge there. I think you can see it there. It's going to go right along the edge because it's going to show through a little bit. And you can see my box, it's off center, but you know what? That's not going to matter. I promise it's not going to matter. So you just want to make sure that there's no adhesive showing through the window here, because that's going to adhere everything down. So I just put one thin strip just along the edge there, and then it's going to pop up. So this is basically what you want it to look like at this point. So you have a little box, you have your die cut circle, and your white piece inside. All right, let's go back to this little piece here, our little kind of pop-up mechanism piece. So you have a long side and a short side. So we're gonna put adhesive on the back of the long side. So I'm gonna use my strong adhesive again for this one. So just a little bit of Stampin' Seal Plus for that one, or you can use tear and tape or the green glue. Just make sure it's on the back of the long side. And so we're gonna line this up on this part right here. So this would be like the second panel. So you have the first panel glued to the front of the card, the second panel, the third panel, and the fourth panel glued to the back of the card. So this is going to go on the second panel. So it's going to fit, it's going to line up just like this, just like that, okay? Make sure you don't go all the way to the edge with your adhesive. I think I'm pretty good, but you're just going to want to put it close to that edge there, all right? Now we're going to put a little bit more adhesive on this front panel here. And so I don't know how I'm going to do that. Actually, I'll just use some liquid glue. That'll actually give me time to wiggle it into place. So we're going to put some adhesive on this front panel, just like that, just a little bit. on the front panel, and we're going to take that die cut circle, and I'm actually going to close this, and then I'm going to just place that die cut circle directly back into that spot right there. Just making sure that glue is adhering to the back of my circle. Okay, and so when you open it, it's going to pop up just like that. When you close it, that circle will lay flat, and then when you open it, it's going to pop up. So this is kind of what it looks like from the side. I hope you guys can see that. So you just have that little mechanism just on that little handle there. So I hope you can see that. So when it closes, it lays flat. When it opens, it pops up. Now I'm putting this on here because we're going to do some ink blending and stuff on our white piece. And so having this blue backing, it actually gives it some more stability. So that is why we put that blue one on there. So basically the card, this is the mechanics of the card. That part's done. So let's work on just the decorations of the card. And put that glue away. So we're going to work on the stamping and all that other fun stuff. So I'm going to pull out, I have another basic white die cut circle, and it's the same size as the one we cut out. I'm going to grab some scratch paper real quick. Grab a piece. There's some scratch paper. And I'm going to do some ink blending. So I'm going to grab a couple blending brushes. So I have my blue one and my green one. So let's do some ink blending. I'm going to start with my pool party. And we're not going to cover this too much. We don't want to add a ton of color, but I just want to add a little bit. So I'm just going to ink blend like half of it, the top half with Pool Party, just real light. I'm just going in circular motions, just hitting it lightly. The outsides are going to pick up a lot more color than the inside, and I don't know that you're even going to be able to see the Pool Party with the harsh light, but you will be able to see it on the camera or on the photos. So I'm going to put the Pool Party ink away. Then I'm going to pull in my Old Olive and put my blending brush away, trying to clean up as I go so we don't have a huge pile. And we're going to do the same thing to the bottom half of our circle. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of ink, tap that off, and just go along the bottom of the circle and just give kind of like a little green hue like the ground to the bottom of the circle. So I hope that's picking up on camera. Just a little bit. You can go in and add more if you want. You can't take color away, so always start out, always work lighter. All right, as long as we have our Old Olive ink out, let's stamp the stems of the flowers here. So I have a couple different stems on this block. So I'm going to stamp one going this way, and I'm going to stamp one going this way. So we just stamp that over the green ink blending. All right, so that is it for our Old Olives. I'm actually gonna try to put these back in my holder as we go. All right, let's bring out our Berry Burst again. This is gonna be for the flowers. So I have this little open flower here. Put this up. So I have this open flower here. That one's gonna go right onto this stem, just like that. Then I have this kind of a side view flower, and I want this to be a lighter shade, but I don't want to bring in another ink color, so I'm just going to stamp that, ink it off on the scrap paper, and then stamp that onto my circle, just like that. Okay, so that's it for the circle. That's it for that circle stamping. So let's move this Berry Burst out of the way. We're done with that one. I do have another circle that I've die cut from those same dies from the Stylish Shapes dies. Let me zoom in a little bit for the stamping. So we're going to stamp our greeting on this one, and I have Night of Navy ink for that. And this one says, "You make my heart buzz," which is so cute. So that's going to go right on that little circle. Fits perfectly. We're good with that one. And that's it for the Night of Navy. So I'll put these stamps away. Okay, now let's stamp our little bee. So that is what's left. So I have some scrap paper here. And I'm going to bring back my Pool Party ink. And we're going to stamp 2 wings. So in that little Be My Valentine, you have 2 kind of heart shapes. Now I'm going to look at my punch because we're going to actually punch the wings out with this one. And so I kind of want my my wings to fit with that punch. So I'm going to stamp them kind of at an angle with the little loops going to the right. And that's going to help us line it up in the punch without wasting too much cardstock. So just like that. All right. so that's it for our pool party. And we have crushed curry for our little bee body. And that one is right here. So I'm going to ink that up really well. So the bee body is just a fun little oval. I'm just going to stamp that down here, the bottom of my little scratch paper. That little oval, so cute. All right, on with that one. And then for the stripes, I'm going to pull in early espresso. You can do black if you want. I actually like the dark richness of early espresso. So that's what we're going to do. And I have the little stripes. Now I want to check my punch again on this one because I want to see which way my little stinger goes. And you guys are hearing my clock go off, so I do apologize for that. But you know, you got to film when you get a chance. So I want my stinger to go off to the right. So I'm going to make sure this is inked up really well. Then I'm going to try to line this up as best I can. Now, you can play around with this stamp set. If it's easier for you to stamp the stripes before the body, you can do it that way. It's, you know, either way for me, I don't really have a preference. I'm going to have to pull this down a little bit off camera just so I can line this up. Okay, I think we got it, hopefully. Pretty good, yay! So we got our little bee body there. And then, now I'm going to stamp my face kind of upside down from what the bee is doing right now because I want the stinger on the card to go to the left. So I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to stamp my little face, just his little, you know, eyes closed face. There's lots of fun face options in this stamp set, so you can choose whichever little face you want. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. That is all of our stamping. So let's grab our punch and we're going to punch this out. So we're going to line up those wings, this little heart area, and you can see that we're not wasting a lot of cardstock by punching what we don't need. I'm gonna line that up, give that a punch. I'm gonna do the same to this wing. Give that a little punch. So see, we're not wasting a ton of cardstock because of the way we orientated it on our cardstock, the orientation of it on the cardstock. And we're gonna do it this way. Now we are gonna lose some cardstock here, but that's okay. We'll live with that. All right, and gather up my scraps, and that's it. There's our little bee. Move our trash off to the side, and we are ready to assemble. All right, I'm gonna take some adhesive and just put a little bit of adhesive on the back, the top back of the bee, and we are going to adhere the wings. So I'm just gonna adhere those down, just like this. And he's so cute. He's very cute. I love him. All right, dimensionals, which I have around here somewhere. I'm going to put a few of these on the back, and I'm going to make sure that I put a couple on each wing, on the back of each wing, just to make sure that everything stays in place. All right, so we're going to stick our little bee right here on our ink blended circle, just like that. So cute. All right, I am going to use liquid glue again, and we're going to put some on the back of our white circle, the bigger white circle. And I like liquid glue for this because it's going to give you a little bit of time to maneuver it. And we're just going to line that up on that Night of Navy circle, just right into that little slot. You can pick it up if you need to kind of maneuver it around, you can. That is right in place, and it's got a lot of stability because of that Night of Navy circle in the back. Okay, we're going to adhere our greeting. I'm going to add a dimensional to my card, and I'm going to put it directly onto my card base instead of on the back of my circle, and that's going to ensure that it goes exactly where I want it to go. I'm going to add 2 of them, just like that. And that means that's going to make sure that no adhesive is going to hang over. It's not going to glue the card shut. None of that. And we're going to stick that on. All right, now I pre-punched some hearts from that same little bee punch. So I have 2 of the small ones and a big one, and we're going to just glue these down. I'll just use my liquid glue because it's right here. It's nice and handy. So I'm going to put the big one over here, and I'm going to put a dot for a little one right there, and one more down here for this little one. Perfect. Now, just to finish it off, I'm going to use my Wink of Stella pen. Whoops. Wait till these are a little bit more dry before you hit these with Wink of Stella. Make sure that's nice and straight. A little bit of Wink of Stella on the hearts just for a little bit of shimmer. And then this heart over here. The Wink of Stella is a glitter brush. It's got like this beautiful glitter liquid in there, and it's going to give it some beautiful like glittery shine. You can also do this on the wings. That would be really pretty too. All right, and to finish it off, I have some rainbow dots. Now on this one, I used the little pool party dots, but I think I am out of those pool party dots, so I think we're going to use the little yellow ones. But any of them would work. I mean, I think you could go with the pink ones. You could use the yellow ones. This blue, this is the Azure Afternoon. This is Night of Navy. So the blues aren't going to match exactly. This one is Lost Lagoon up here. I think that would also work. But I'm going to go with the little lemon lolly ones. And I think that's going to work perfectly for our little cards. So these rainbow dots, you get so many of one color or so many of so many different colors that they're going to coordinate with all your projects. They're pretty phenomenal in that way. All right, so that finishes up the card. So let me know which DSP you like better. Do you like this, the more solid blue DSP? Isn't that fun? It pops right up. Or do you like this kind of tile pattern DSP? And that one pops right up too. Isn't that adorable? I hope you give these cards a try. I'd love to see what stamp sets you use with them. Remember to subscribe to my channel so you never miss a video. And I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye.